Okay. So yeah, for today, we will discuss and start the discussion rather of chapter 3. We are already in IT and BPO, BPM engagements. No? So ito yung coverage. Okay. Why is a business contract important? How does a contract protect you from the business? Okay. For the contract to be effective, what should be indicated in its terms and conditions, and therefore, when dealing with a contractor, how can you protect your business through a contract? So, all of these questions will be answered through the culmination, ano, yung kabuuan ng chapter 3. But for now, we will have the first part. Okay, client-vendor relationships, IT BPM contracts, financials, and then regulatory requirements. Okay. So, yan. Module learning objectives to describe the attributes of a client and service provider. So, what's the difference between the two? So, we will have this today, as well as the definition of contract, SOW, MSA, SLA, and KPI. And then the rest, we will have this on the next meetings. Okay. So, by then, we would have reached our target na before the midterm. We will be having our midterm soon. I'm just getting the exact date. Ano? But we were already instructed to create your midterm examination. So, all of the discussions naman that we have and the learning materials that I have placed in your Google Classroom will be the basis for the midterm exam. Okay. So today, let's talk about the client service provider relationship. So what are its attributes, the SOW, MSA, or core and core elements. So when we say client company, no, kasi minsan, oftentimes na napagpapalit-palit yung terms, the client company at saka yung service provider, no? But we have to be very sure ano ba yung difference between the two. And I know you already have an idea of this because we have covered portions of this topic in the past discussions. No? But just to be clear, when you talk of client company, they have different objectives as compared to the service provider. Okay? When you say client company, they are concerned with quality transition of processes, efficient operation of business functions, that were once handled in-house, no? So kaya nga tayo nag-outsource kasi we want to save money. In-house siya in the past, but now we are outsourcing it or offshoring it. Okay? Tina-transfer na natin yung service na yan outside our company. Okay? So yun yung mga main concerns nila. Quality transition, no? Mai-transfer smoothly into the service provider yung business, and then of course we need efficient operations kasi we are paying, nagbabayad kami, no? Kumbaga kami yung customer and kayo yung may-ari ng service, so we are expecting efficient operations of business functions that were once handled in-house. On the other hand, when you say service provider, okay, ito naman na yung nagre-receive ng service or in our past discussion, yung third party, no? So, they are concerned with knowing ano ba yung scope of service, ano ba yung lawak, okay? Ano-ano ba yung coverage, okay? What are the performance measures? Like how would you measure whether na-deliver namin yung quality or standard na gusto ninyo? Sa paanong paraan nyo kami susukatin, ano? Kasi it has to be very specific. Hindi pwedeng tansya lang or parang iba-iba tayo, subjective tayo ng interpretation of what's good and what's not, no? Like for example, what is a good measurement of a public official? Kailangan ba graduate ka? Kailangan ba makita natin yung SALN or yung kanyang private life, yung kanyang expenditure, so on and so forth? We need to be very clear with these things, ano? So, performance measures, no? Kailangan alam natin, eksakto. Pag sinabi mong Customer satisfaction, gaano ka taas na customer satisfaction? Baka magkaiba tayo ng interpretation eh. Baka sa akin yung 75% satisfied na ako pero sa iyo gusto mo pala 95, right? So all of these things has to be very specific. Okay? Benchmarks to ensure objective standards in assessing work quality. So there are numbers, there are benchmarks na meron tayong goals, goal posts. Meron tayong specific numbers na kailangan ma-hit. Okay? And from there, we will assess what is the quality of your work. No? Ano bang kalidad ng trabaho meron ka? Therefore, as a result of these relationship attributes, the IT BPM contract is a unique tailor-fit agreement captured in a document. So I would like to underscore unique. There is no standard contract. No? One contract can apply to company A, pero hindi siya pwede kay company B, vice versa. No? Hindi siya pwedeng shoe fits all na one size fits all. Size 8, lahat kayo pare-pareho. No, it does not work that well. It has to be tailor fit. Pag sinabi mong tailor fit, yung talagang sakto dun sa pangangailangan ng specific company. Okay? And then, it has to be captured in a document. No? Very important yung document eh. Maiintindihan niyo yan lalo kapag nag-start na kayo mag-work. Okay? In working, there is a concept that if it's not documented, it did not happen. No? Pagka walang black and white, pagka walang nakasulat, hindi siya nangyari. So to save yourself, no, or para to protect yourself rather, kailangan lahat ng ginagawa mo documented. May email ka, meron kang proof, maybe screenshots or whatever, na ginawa mo talaga yun. Ano? So yun. It resembles a performance contract. So all of these things resembles the performance contract. So ito yung kontrata between two parties, the client company and the service provider. So kagaya nung nabanggit ko sa inyo last time, ano, example is this, and this example is the most tangible one because yan marapit sa atin to, teleperformance. So when you go to SM Fairview, makikita ninyo yung teleperformance doon, it's a BPO company. And even in Fairview Terraces, meron ding teleperformance, no. Pero yung nasa Fairview Terraces, ang account nila doon specific lang ay Telstra. Kaya nga isang buong building makikita mo nakalagay lang mismo Telstra lang eh. Kasi sila lang ang nagre-rent ng buong operations ng teleperformance in that building. Okay? So, yung service provider ay si Teleperformance. So, siya yung makikita nating third party service provider. Siya ang nagbibigay ng call center operations for Telstra. Si Telstra naman ang client, kumbaga customer siya ni Teleperformance. Okay? Marami siyang iba-iba pang partner. Okay? May mga iba-iba pa siyang partner na companies bukod sa Teleperformance kung saan ina-outsource niya ang kanyang call center operations. Okay? So siya yung client company and Teleperformance is the service provider company. So I hope maintindihan natin yung difference between the two and we do not mix the terms. Baka sabihin natin client tapos you are referring pala to the service provider. O di kaya sinabi mo service provider but you're referring to the client. Okay? So I hope this is clear with everyone. So the IT BPM contract is a business process management contract, formal agreement between the client and a service provider, yung two parties that we have established earlier, to take over a pre-agreed portion of the client's business operation. So yung operations mismo ng client, ang magte-take over doon ay si service provider. And then si client will pay the service fee to the service provider in relation to their to that business. No? This pre-agreed portion is documented in the contract as scope of work or SOW or SOW. Dati sa company namin, ang tawag nila diyan SOW. Pwede ba makita yung SOW, no? Pero high level na yan, ano, hindi yan sa level ng mga agents or yung ano bang tawag nito? Yun nasa front end ng service, no. Kumbaga ito nasa executive levels yan, no, sa admins level. Yung being able to see the SOW, no? Kasi pre-agreed portion na yan between two parties and it's not meant to be seen or be disclosed to everyone, no? So more on the admin side ang nakakakita niyang SOW. Okay? The IT BPM contract with all its attachments, assumptions, and documented agreements is referred to as the Master Services Agreement or the MSA. Okay? So, lahat na daw ng attachments yan. For example, parang kunwari, nag-apply ka ng scholarship, no? When you apply for scholarship, marami kang attachment. Kailangan mo ng barangay certificate, maybe birth certificate, o di kaya kailangan din ng grades, no? Or yung COG mo, and yung certificate of registration mo. Those are your attachments, right? And then overall, pag pinagsama-sama mo yon, you can call that an application to scholarship, no? These are my documents for my application for scholarship. So ganun din naman sa business, no? This is the MSA. Pag sinabi mong MSA, these are all the documents, attachments, and agreements combined in one, no? Pinagsama-sama siya. Okay? Kailangan yan, ano, yung attachments. Kahit saan, pag mag-apply ka ng trabaho, papasok ka sa eskwelahan, meron kang a-applyan na benefit, may bibilihin ka, no? Kasi again, ano, kailangan natin ng documentation in everything that we do, no? Kailangan natin ng sufficient documents. Now, the IT-BPM contract master service agreement or the MSA covers agreement that summarize terms applicable to every job order with the service provider. So ito, kino-cover niya lahat ng job orders. Ano bang kailangan natin? Kailangan namin ng agents, kailangan namin ng nurse, kailangan namin ng magiging managers, HR, accounting, so on and so forth. Lahat nakalagay yan doon. Again, it has to be very detailed. Hindi ka pwede mag-iwan ng blank space or space na hindi clearly defined. And the MSA can also be revised from time to time. Ano? Pwede rin siyang mabago from time to time. Like every once in a while, like every year, by the end of a contract, no? By the end of let's say a year's worth of contract, pwede mo siyang baguhin. Kasi kunwari, nag-expand yung business o di kaya nag-downsize yung business, madadagdagan or mababawasan yan. No? Main elements would have to be service to be provided, yung performance management, the issues and change management, and then the country laws. Yung country laws, ito very specific yan to the company where the business operates. Iba-iba kasi yan no? 1 second. Magkakaiba kasi ng country laws, no? Depende yan sa bansa kung saan nag-ooperate yung business, no? Kagaya sa atin, meron tayo dito sa Philippines na protected ang employees ng labor. Okay, 'di ba? DOLE, Department of Labor and Employment. Meron tayong mga laws that protect workers, no? Like for example, dito kailangan pagka magma-maternity leave, no, hindi mo pwedeng pwersahin niya na pumasok, bibigyan mo siya ng SSS benefit, magli-leave yan. Ngayon nga, pinalawak na nila parang 3 months na ang maternity benefit, no? 90 days, so napakahabang panahon nun, ano? Dati kasi 30 days lang or equivalent to 1 month. Okay? Yun, specific yun sa country natin, right? I don't know with other countries kung ano ang arrangement nila. Okay? So, iba-iba yan, no? And we have to be very specific with whatever country laws and the laws that we have to abide on. And it is subjective, no? Depende yan sa bansa. Okay? Groups A and B are operational elements. Now, itong service to be provided at performance management, issues, and change management are operational elements, which means that they deals with the operation side. Operation, yan na yung mga tao, nagtatawag, mga manager na nagbabantay, so on and so forth. And then yung Group C, the country laws, is just in case terms, meaning these could be um, um, uh, subjective or changeable again depending on the country laws. Kasi ganito na, I'll give you an example. Yung account na pinagtatrabahuan ko dati, Square Trade, siya ay isang insurance provider for smartphones, no? So, kuwari iPhone nabasag, nabasa. Amerikano kasi mahilig yan sila yung cellphone nila na paglalaroan ng mga aso, nakagat, no, nabasag yung screen, nalaglag, etc. So, meron silang call center dito sa Pilipinas, meron din silang call center sa India. So, you see, yung elements A and B, pareho sa amin, ano, whether nasa India ka or nasa Philippines. But the country laws will change. No? Iba yung law sa India, iba din yung sa Pilipinas. Hindi ko lang alam, ano, baka mamaya meron silang religious mandated na kailangan hanggang 5 p.m. lang. Hindi ka pwedeng magkaroon ng operations after 5 kasi 5 sasamba na sila. Mga ganun, ano? Iba-iba yan eh. Okay? O di kaya sa atin, age of 18 ang minimum age requirement to hire. Sa kanila, pwede kahit, example lang naman, I'm not saying this to be true. Kunwari, sa kanila, pwede kahit below 18, pwede 17, ano, mga ganon. Hindi natin alam, ano. So, these things are interchangeable, ano, kapag country, when we are talking of country laws. But the A and B elements will be specific, no, regardless of the country you are operating in. Basta ikaw yung service provider. Okay? So, I hope nasusundan pa ninyo, no. Definition, scope of work or yung SOW na tinatawag natin, describes the specific work to be delivered by, when, and at what cost, no? Sino daw ang accountable na mag-deliver nun at magkano? Okay? It can be similar to a job order, no? Like for example, yung isang tao, meron kang in-issue sa kanya na job order. Nakalagay lahat ng details doon. Ano yung klase ng trabaho, gaano katagal, at magkano. Okay? It is generally an attachment or an addendum. So, nakalagay siya, yung SOW. Isa siya sa mga attachment. Sabi nga natin, yung MSA kanina, Master Service Agreement, collection na yon of all the documents. No? Master Agreement points to covering terms. So, yung SOW, isa lang siya doon. It may state that in case of terms inconsistency, the SOW or Master Agreement supersedes. Okay? Let's say meron daw issues or inconsistency between the SOW or Master Agreement. Merong maliit na detalye na nagkaroon ng differences. Yung Master Agreement pa rin ang susunod. Kasi yun ang ano pinakang general na document natin. Okay? Kahit na merong mali sa SOW. So what you have to do is update the SOW. No? Babaguhin mo yung SOW para mag-match siya dun sa overall agreement. Kasi yun yung ituturin na pinakang agreed upon. No? Kaya nga agreement, master agreement document. Okay? Service to be rendered or provided as documented in the scope of work. So yung services to be rendered, ano-ano bang klase yun? Inbound calls, outbound calls, technical support, customer service, nakalagay lahat yan. Ano? And then performance standards expected from the service provider are the SLA or yung service level agreement. So ito yung service level na hinahanap natin sa, for example, the SLA is 90%. So kailangan ma-hit natin yung service level agreement. 90%, yun yung minimum. Kailangan mas mataas pa doon. Kumbaga, 90 yung expectation ko. Kailangan humigit tayo sa 90. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Ano. And then, meron tayong tinatawag na key performance indicator. Yung key performance indicator, yan yung iba't ibang skills at mga trabaho na ginagawa ng isang agent, no, kung saan ang kanyang performance ay mini-measure. It is called KPIs. Okay? For example, siguro iba sa inyo nag-work sa fast food, no? For example, nag-work ka sa fast food. Maraming skills na hinahanap sa'yo eh, right? So, kailangan marunong ka sa, you must know a little bit about math, no? Kasi let's say, ilagay ka sa kaha, no? Pagka nag-short yan, ikaw bahala dyan, no? I-deduct yan sa salary mo, ibabawas yan, no? Pag hindi nag-match yung um, yung inventory at saka yung mga na i-record sa kaha versus dun sa laman niya na pera, no? So, yan. You must also be quick, no? Kailangan mabilis ka. I don't know kung sa fast food meron kayong hinahanap na required time for a specific order to be fulfilled. Like kung for example kailangan kada order ma-serve within 15 minutes. Right? Pagka lumampas siya ng 15 minutes, nagpupula na yan kung merong monitor, parang red na siya. Ibig sabihin, uy, kanina pa nag-aantay ito. Ano na nangyari? Ganyan. No? So speed, um, yung ability to handle money, yung finances, basic mathematic skills, no? At saka customer service, no? Kailangan magiliw ka sa customers mo, hindi ka bastos, kausap, nakangiti palagi, no? So on and so forth, no? So yun, example pa lang yun. And then meron na akong na-mention na 3 klase ng key performance indicator or KPI. Okay? Sa mga call centers, mas marami silang KPI at depende sa nature of work, no? Mamaya papakita ko sa inyo yung iba't ibang samples ng KPIs. Timeline of the contract, start kung kailan nag-start, no? Go live, meaning pag may tumawag, nararoute na dito sa Pilipinas, live na yon, no? May nakakakausap na isang Amerikano sa Pilipino as their customer service representative. And kailan siya magtatapos na yung contract. And then of course the costs, magkano ba yung babayaran? And if there are other specific operational requirements, like for example, kami ay isang technical support business at kailangan namin yung computer ay ang RAM ganito kataas. No? Mayroon kaming hinahanap na specs ng computer, hindi pwede dito yung mabagal na klase ng computer. Yung headsets, kailangan noise cancelling, ganitong brand. Mga ganun, Other operational requirements that are very specific. Yan. So I hope naintindihan natin ito na mga core elements. Okay? Services to be rendered or provided as documented in the scope of work. Examples, yung outbound sales calls, inbound, yung outbound papasok, like ikaw, nag-work sa call center, you have the ability to dial out. Pwede kang tumawag sa kahit kaninong customer, let's say sa US. No? Pag inbound naman, wala kang ability to call. Ang meron lang nakaset sa system mo ay mag-receive ng tawag. Wala ka nang gagawin doon. Basta't nag-ready ka na or meron kasi sa amin dati, kiklik mo lang yung ready, diretso doon papasok na yung mga calls. No? Ngayon, kapag hindi ka ready, like kailangan mo mag-bathroom break, magla-lunch ka, iano mo lang yun, magkiklik ka lang ng mga break options doon. So, inbound yun, hindi ka pwedeng tumawag, outgoing. Puro receiving ka lang ng calls at magsasagot ka lang ng mga receiving calls. Pag outbound naman, more on sales yan, kaya nga nakalagay sales. Ikaw yung tatawag sa customer, mag-o-offer ka sa kanila kung gusto nilang bumili or hindi. Okay? Delivering foods or flowers or mail, So yan, delivery. Okay? Iba rin yan. So more of outbound din yan kasi kung kailan parang like for example here, may delivery ka, no? Subject to change yan, depende sa oras na makakarating yung rider. Okay? At kung kailan niya may deliver, let's say ito ay services post-delivery, like check mo kung kailan ba, what do you call this? kumusta naman yung delivery, maayos ba na nadala, so on and so forth. Performance standards expected from the service provider. Ito yung ine-expect ng client from the service provider, yung SLA and KPIs. Like yung sabi ko kanina, handle time, gaano kabilis yung tawag. Hindi ka pwede yung makipag-telebabad, no? Parang marites, no? Nagtsikahan na kayong dalawa doon. Inabot na kayo ng isang oras. Naku, mayayari ka talaga doon. Magagalit sa iyo yung manager mo, tsaka babagsak yung performance level mo. Kasi kunwari nakalagay, in 3 minutes kailangan na ibigay lahat ng pangangailangan ng customer. Kaya nga iba, no, nagmamadali sila eh. Notice kapag may kausap kayo na, kunwari, Globe representative, smart, sa PLDT, talagang very particular sila with time. No, hindi sila yung tipong makikipagtelebabad. Pagka nasagot na nila yung tanong, have I answered your question? May iba pa po ba kayong tanong? Yan, gusto na nilang i-close yung tawag, no? Kasi meron silang minimit din na time. Okay? Sales attainment. So, yan, kung nasa sales ka, kailangan kinito karaming benta mo sa isang buwan, sa isang linggo, or sa isang araw. And then, of course, the customer satisfaction rating. So, ito yung rating na ibinibigay ng customer sa agent. No? Of course, there will be times na kahit maganda naman yung service mo, magbibigay pa rin ng mababa yung customer. No? Talagang hindi natin masasabi yan. It would ultimately depend on the this decision or judgment of the customer. Okay? Pero syempre, controllable yan. Nasa sa'yo yan. Kung maganda naman talaga yung tawag mo, naibigay mo lahat na kailangan niya, na-answer mo in a timely manner, tapos you have done it professionally, hindi ka bastos kausap, hindi sarcastic yung tone of voice mo, pati yung choice of words mo, hindi robotic, parang very, very friendly and pleasant yung tawag, bibigyan ka talaga ng magandang rating yan. No? Timeline of the contract starts date, so yung start dates and go live and duration, yan yung detailed schedule for the transition period. So yan, there could be yearly contracts, multi-year contracts, it depends, no? Or in on-demand contracts like yung nabanggit ko, yung flowers, no? Specific weeks or months lang siya in a year. Tapos after nun, wala na namang tawag, no? Off na naman yung services. Cost to the client refers to the payment made by the client to the service provider for honoring contractual agreements. Other specific operational requirements: who will provide the service, qualification, location, outline of reporting, legal provision. So, ano ba yung qualification? Pwede na ba kahit high school graduate? Kagaya niyan, may pwede sa atin, ano, basta meron sila ng skills, ng basic skills na customer service. Pag IT, kailangan IT grad, no? So on and so forth. Saan yung location? Nasa Manila ka ba? Nasa Cebu? Nasa Davao? Reporting, kailan ba ginagawa? Annually? Semi-annually? Monthly? So on and so forth. And then what are the legal provisions? Itong non-competition na tinatawag natin, no? I'll give you an example. Ang isa sa pinakasikat na program dito sa Pilipinas, among different call centers, is yung AT&T. AT&T, parang katumbas yan ng PLDT sa US. Malaki yan, ano? So dahil malaki siya, buong bansa ang covered niya, marami siyang partners, no? Meron ka makikita niyan sa Sykes, meron sa Teletech, meron sa Teleperformance, kahit saan ka mag-apply, meron dong AT&T. Pero ito yung catch, no? Pag sinabi nating non-competition, kunwari, naging agent ka na once ng AT&T sa Teleperformance. Pagka lumipat ka ng company, no, nag-resign ka, lumipat ka sa Teletech, hindi ka na pwedeng pumasok sa AT&T program. Okay? Hindi na pwede yon. Ang tawag doon ay non-compete clause, no? Bakit? Kasi it also deals with confidentiality, no? Baka mamaya galing ka na Teleperformance, iba yung ibinigay sa iyo doon na salary, iba yung tools na ginagamit. Tapos ang gawin mo, yung customers na na-handle mo sa Teleperformance, no? When you use it to your advantage, whether you malign o di kaya tinawagan mo sila para mag-offer ng ibang bagay, sabihin mo nasa kabilang call center ka na. bottom line, it is advantageous to one party and disadvantageous to another. Bawal yun, ano? So, kapag ka nalaman nila na galing ka na sa ganitong klase ng program, hindi ka na pwede doon. Hanapan ka nila ng ibang program. Yan yung tinatawag na non-compete clause. So, kahit lumipat-lipat ka ng call center, pag nakapag-serve ka na sa isang program, bawal ka na kung merong identical program doon sa lilipatan mong company. Okay? Non-competition and confidentiality clause ang tawag doon. So ito yung example ng escalation flow, no, for an IT service. So tier 1, kaya may mga tier yan eh. T2, T3 at saka tier N support, no. Highest na yung tier N support. T3 mataas na rin yan. Depende sa tier mo yung salary mo. Kaya makikita mo dito, pagka wari, may opening sa job street, T3, IT specialist, mas mataas ka na nun. Pag T1, mas mababa lang kasi entry lang yun eh. Ang gagawin mo lang, ilalog mo yung incident, i-document mo, you will provide initial troubleshooting, tapos i-identify mo na resolve ba o hindi. Pagka hindi na resolve, i-escalate mo sa tier 2. Okay? Pagka na-resolve, i-close mo na. Tapos bibigay mo pa rin sa T3. Ang next tier, investigate and remediate. So, i-check kung kunwari, nawala ng internet. Hindi na solve ng troubleshooting like turning off and turning off of the modem. Tapos, pag-check ng line whether, ano ba tawag nito? Yung line ay active or hindi. Okay? Tapos, check na yun ng tier 2 support. Mas advanced na yung alam niyang way of troubleshooting. Meron din siyang software na ginagamit para i-check ano ba yung problem. Like, baka nagkaroon ng outage sa area. For example, dito, no? Converge, buong, let's say, buong kaipian, nawalan ng connection. Hindi na kasalanan yun ng customer, ano? Hindi na sa kanya yun. But rather, it is an outage in the area. So, may access din yung tier 2 at pataas dyan, ano? So T3, ganun pa rin, investigate and remediate, no? This is more of ano na yan, pwede na yung tipong kukunin niya yung IP address mo, papasok na siya dun sa computer mo, titingnan niya, no? Kung meron, if it's a software problem. Pag hindi naman software problem, hardware ang problema, magpapadala siya ng field technician. Yung field technician pupunta doon, i-check what is the cause of the problem. So yan. Example lang naman to, no? Regardless of the service, may mga tiers yan na tinatawag. No? Iba't ibang level of expertise. Okay? And then, meron din tayo yung KPIs na tinatawag natin or Key Performance Indicators. Iba-iba yan eh. No? Merong average time. Kami dati, kailangan kada call 3 minutes lang. Pagka 3 minutes, makita mo pumupula na yung time sa screen mo. Ibig sabihin, kailangan i-end mo na, you have to wrap up the call. Pag mataas ang handling time mo, babagsak yung overall score mo. Yung score kasi ang basis for incentives eh. Nung time ko, kapag mataas yung pagpasok lahat ng KPIs mo, meron kang 5,000 na incentive. Bukod yun sa sahod mo. So, kaya naghahabol kami talaga doon. Ano? Kung sales ka naman, depende sa dami ng benta, magkano yung nabenta, gano'n na lang. So, resolution of customers' issues in first call. So, yan yung tinatawag nating first call resolution. Kumbaga, hindi na pabalik-balik yung customer. Kasi ibig sabihin, pag pabalik-balik siya, yung mga unang tawag niya, hindi binigay lahat ng information or hindi na-solve ng maayos ng mga first agents yun. So, yun yung iniiwasan natin. Ano? Even yung number niya, naka-track yan, ano? So, kunwari, bakit itong number na to, 5 beses tumawag? What's the problem? Baka yung unang agent na nakausap niya, hindi pala baguhan, hindi niya naiintindihan ng maayos. Hindi niya na-discuss lahat ng kailangan malaman ng customer. Tumawag pa ulit ng second time and third time. Okay? So, ganyan ang ini-aim ng company palagi. First call resolution. Absenteeism rate of the agent. So, mahalaga din ang attendance ng isang empleyado. No? Kasi pag palaging absent, maapektuhan yung trabaho ng lahat. Like for example, no, balik tayo sa fast food. Kunwari, dapat 10 kayo na crew ngayon. Tapos may umabsent na isa. anong mangyari? Dadagdagan yung capacity ninyong lahat dahil ang tingin kasi sa bawat tao ay output eh. Like for example, kada isang tao ay katumbas ng 100 tawag. Ngayon na umabsent ka, yung 100 tawag na yun, poproblemahin ko yun. Gagawin ko, i-distribute ko yan sa naiwan na siyam. O so tig 12 kayo ha para or tig 11 kayo para ma-attain yung SLA natin kasi may isang umabsent eh. So very important talaga yung attendance sa ganitong line ng trabaho. Rate of occupancy. Okay, ibig sabihin lahat occupied. Okay? At no given time na yung isa mababa yung occupancy kasi again, apektado siya ng average time eh, no? Ang tagal niya nakipag-usap sa customer, instead na 3 minutes lang, inabot sila ng 2 oras, kwentuhan. Hindi kaya hindi niya mahanap, ma-resolusyonan na maayos yung query ng customer. Apektado lahat niyan kasi sa amin mararoute yung mga calls na dapat ay para sa iyo kasi kanina pa sila nag-aantay sa line. Right? Rate of agent turnover, yan. When you talk of turnover, yan yung mga nagre-resign, terminate kasi may mga offenses or whatever. Lahat yan may apekto rin sa trabaho eh, no? Pag ang isang trabaho, mataas ang turnover, meaning marami nagre-resign, maraming nag-terminate. Marami silang problema, no? Either yung hindi ba masaya yung mga tao doon sa work na meron, or highly stressful siya, or hindi sila compensated properly. Kasi ang trabaho naman class, kahit mahirap, basta tama ang sahod, papatulan ng tao yan eh, right? Kahit gaano kahirap yan, if the price is right, sabi nga natin, Eh kung mataas ang turnover, kumare, akala nila madaling trabaho lang kasi ganitong kababang salary lang, tapos pagdating doon, in-overwork mo. Magre-resignan talaga yung mga yan. At saka hindi na, kumbaga, either mateterminate yung iba or magre-resign. Malaking problem yun for the company kasi mas expensive yung mag-hire na naman ako ng panibago, ititrain ko na naman, right? Additional expense yun eh. So, every company, no, on a normal setting, gusto nila ma-retain talaga yung empleyado. Kasi magastos yung training eh, no? At saka hiring. So, rate of agent turnover, yan, pareho lang general speed of answering calls, so average na yan, average rate of abandonment. Ito yung mga calls na hindi nasasagot kasi for example, ang end ng shift natin 6. Tapos makikita pa natin may ilang pang nag-aantay, no? Eh by 6 parang merong yan, general on and off switch yan eh. Pag off niyan, kahit na nasa telepono pa yung agent, hindi napapasok sa kanya kasi yun ang end ng shift eh. So, na-abandon yung mga calls tuloy kasi again, maraming yan eh, reasons bakit ma-abandon sila kasi iba mahaba, nagbabad sa tawag o di kaya may absent. So siya, interconnected yung mga bagay na yan, yung mga KPIs na yan. So level of service received by the caller, so more on customer satisfaction na yan, ang nagbibigay ng score niyan is yung customer. Percentage of calls that are blocked. So yan, nangyayari din yan. Pag mga nuisance calls o di kaya parang prank calls, binablock din yan. Average time spent by callers in the queue. Gaano katagal nag-antay yung customer? So tayo as customers, naiintindihan natin na very important yan. Minsan nga, fini-Facebook pa ng tao yan. Ayan, 1 hour na ako dito, wala pa ring sumasagot. Mga ganun. These things are very important. So again, depending on the type of business you have at ano yung reputation ng business, merong KPI na mas mataas over the other or mas important, no? At ang nagdi-dictate niyan yung mismong business. Like for example sa kanila, sa amin mahalaga na walang abandon. Kahit na mababa yung time ninyo, basta walang abandon. Or kahit mahaba yung time, mag-overtime yung mga tao, or maikli yung oras, basta walang na-abandon na calls, no? O di kaya, vice versa. Sa iba naman, gusto namin mabilis ang mga tawag, no? Kahit may ma-abandon diyan, basta importante ganito kabilis ang tawag, no? Again, iba-iba yan sa depende yan sa needs ng company, no? So yung KPI ang magdi-dictate niyan would be the business. Kung ano yung pinaka-importante sa kanilang mga KPIs at kung ano yung nakatapat na incentive doon, no? For example, na-hit mo, wala kang absence for the month. Okay, dahil wala kang absent, meron kang plus 1,000 or plus 2,000. Mga ganyan, attendance incentive or attendance bonus. So all of these things are again very important, but to be sure, we have to check on the business kung which KPI matters most to them. So as your assignment, no, I would like for you to answer this and explain which of the following do you think is more important for the employer. Is it employee attendance or the performance? Is it the number of hires or the number of attrition? O yung recruit versus dun sa natatanggal? Is it the number of unanswered calls or answered calls and unanswered calls? One call resolution or income per call? And then call handling time or customer satisfaction. So explain this and then you can also research online in order to assist you in answering these questions.